At the beginning of the film, we are transferring to Canada in 1983. A guy is standing near the ticket booth, wanting to leave as soon as possible. A stranger gets on the bus with Martin Asher, who complains that the man behind him snores a lot. The stranger treats Martin to a drink when the bus suddenly breaks down. The guys don't want to wait, and so rent a car. The stranger tells that his stepfather sent him to military school. A couple of days ago, the stranger ran away from there because his sincere dream is to make music. During the journey, a breakdown occurs again. The stranger decides to change the tire, and meanwhile, Martin observes the approaching car. When the car equals the guys, Martin suddenly notices that he and his traveling companion are about the same height. Martin pushes the stranger under the wheels, causing him to lose his life and the passing car to overturn. Then the guy diligently pretends that it was he who became his traveling companion, who escaped from the military school. 4 years go by. The news reports several gruesome unsolved crimes. The action moves to the Montreal of the present day. While working on a building site, one of the men discovers gruesome remains that someone wanted to keep safely hidden. The action moves to a terrified Mrs. Escher. The woman in a panic escapes from the ferry and turns to a policeman. The whole thing is that Mrs. Escher has just seen her son, who has been dead for a long time. The police department is alarmed by the discovery at the construction site. That is why an FBI agent soon comes to their aid. Illeana visits the place of the tragedy and says that the deprivation of life most likely occurred here. The agent also picks up on small details that clarify and explain the criminal's behavior. Illeana is sure that the criminal wanted the buried remains to be found. Otherwise, why hide such an evidence on a construction site? After examining the find at the morgue, the agent begins to wonder why there are no eyes. At the hotel, Illeana continues to analyze the information. In the morning, the agent is taken aback by another news. It turns out that in the morning, in the car park, another victim of the criminal was found. However, this time, the investigation gets an incredible lead. The fact that at the scene of the incident was a certain James Costa, who saw the perpetrator. The witness says that he draws a little and therefore could sketch a portrait of the attacker. Illeana is alarmed by the answers, so she decides to talk to the witness herself. The agent observes James closely, analyzing his behavior. The witness becomes hysterical when Illeana deliberately drops the lanyard on the floor, which was used to take the life of the unfortunate man in the car park. Back from interrogation, the agent says that the brains of a psychopathic person and a normal person work differently. The former would have no emotion if the lanyard had fallen to the floor. Also, based on the evidence, the perpetrator is left-handed, while James is obviously right-handed. Joseph, a police officer, arranges an interrogation for the agent. The witness asks Illeana to come to him, and then says that he just wanted to help her. The police manage to identify the victims. The strange fact that someone keeps withdrawing money from their bank cards and even paying taxes for the victims comes to light. Illeana receives a call and learns of another victim. The agent also checks the information from a drawing made by James. In one of the poor hotels, the police managed to get on the trail of the perpetrator. It turns out that a similar man rented a room for 3 months and has not been seen since. Illeana, along with another policeman, decides to inspect the room. The room turns out to be very dark. It is filled with racks of various reagents. In the bedroom, Illeana discovers a hiding place, which is right in the ceiling. From it, another victim of the perpetrator almost falls on the agent. Illeana doesn't want to report the find on the news, thinking it will anger the criminal, and he might make some kind of mistake. Meanwhile, James Costa is preparing for the opening of a new exhibition, at which he needs to sell some paintings. The witness briefly comes into a bar, where Illeana is waiting for him. James tries to get the agent to talk, and tells her the story of how, after traveling to Thailand, he started making art. Illeana leaves the witness her phone number and asks him to call if he remembers anything about the perpetrator. The next day, the agent learns that the man who rented that hotel room has called Mrs. Escher about 20 times. Illeana decides to visit the woman and talk to her alone. The agent shows Mrs. Escher a portrait of the suspect, and she says that the man in the drawing could very well be her son. The woman says that her son, Martin, has had a nervous tic since childhood, so he would often twitch his ear. Mrs. Escher also mentions that she had another son. Martin's twin brother was more favored by the woman. He also passed away earlier. Illeana decides to test the theory that Martin Escher is actually alive. The agent obtains permission to remove the remains. Illeana's version is confirmed because it turns out that Martin is most likely alive, and it is he who committed all these horrific crimes. The agent still doesn't fully trust Mrs. Escher, believing that she is hiding something. At the very least, there's a secret door behind a wardrobe in her house. Illeana decides to break into the woman's home to confirm her guesses. Behind a wardrobe, the agent discovers a dingy room filled with children's things and toys. On the rung above the bed, Illeana discovers the name Martin. Suddenly, hands appear straight out of the mattress and attempt to strangle the agent. The unknown man hits Illeana hard, after which he runs away. Lying in the bathroom, Illeana suddenly realizes the true motives of the perpetrator. During the day at the police station, the agent tells that Martin takes other people's lives so that he can live them himself. So he pays taxes for his victims and possibly lives in their homes. The meeting is interrupted by a new message. According to the agent's version, Martin broke into the witness's art gallery and stole some of his belongings. Illeana notices a sticker reminding her of the meeting. It seems to the agent that this is where Martin will try to take out the witness who saw him. From the art gallery, Illeana drives James home. The agent reveals that when she was 12 years old, a 16-year-old boy broke into their home. Illeana lunged at him with a knife and took his life. To redeem herself, she became an FBI agent. The next day, the police put a listening device on James. After that, the witness goes to the club where his business meeting is to take place. Soon, James receives a note proposing to meet in the toilet. Nervous, the witness decides to go there. In the toilet, James is met by a policeman. Outside, it is explained to the witness that the criminal has not showed up, which means their covert operation has been solved. At home, James flirts with the agent. She's almost reciprocating, but then leaves. The next day, Illeana talks to the police chief and tells him she'd better leave. The agent tells her that she has started to react inappropriately to the witness. The police chief doesn't think this is terrible and asks Illeana to stay to help catch the criminal. Soon there is an exhibition of James. Illeana also visits it and admires the paintings. Among the visitors, the agent notices a strange man. The stranger escapes from the gallery as soon as the other policemen pay attention to him. Illeana fails to catch up with the stranger as she loses him in the crowd. The police feel that the valuable witness should be transported to Toronto under guard. In the morning, one of the policemen helps James pack his things. Illeana is very nervous and decides to go to the witness's flat. Meanwhile, James is attacked by the same criminal who tried to catch up with him in the art gallery. The policeman hears the sounds of a fight and runs into the flat. Illeana, who arrives a few minutes later, finds her partner already dead. The agent runs out into the street and notices a car speeding away. Illeana starts chasing the criminal, whose car soon crashes on a bridge. Martin loses his life, but the witness is unharmed. The case is considered closed. At night, the witness comes to Illeana, after which they stay alone. In the morning, the agent finds a red spot on his cheek. Illeana wakes up the witness, and he realizes that his stitches ripped open from the strain. The agent brings James back to the hospital. At the same moment, Mrs. Escher arrives at the morgue for identification. After examining the criminal, the woman runs out and enters the lift. There she is suddenly called out by James. Illeana goes down the stairs and stops at the lift as it opens. The agent sees Mrs. Escher taken from her life and realizes that James is in fact Martin. Illeana is mortified that she failed to recognize the criminal in the witness. Meanwhile, Martin escapes the city by train and quickly finds a new victim. The police continue to investigate and learn that the man everyone mistook for the criminal is actually a thief to whom Martin has not paid for a long time, which is why he decided to collect his debts. During the search, Illeana receives a phone call. Martin says the agent could never have fallen in love with a cowardly salesman called James Costa, and in fact, she always knew there was a criminal in front of her. The police manage to trace the call, and everyone sets off to find Martin. Illeana, on the other hand, returns home and again remembers how skillfully the criminal fooled her. The agent pulls out a gun and wanders around the room with it. Realizing that Martin has used her in his game, Illeana becomes enraged and throws the weapon straight into the mirror. Because of a misstep in Martin's case, the agent is removed from his position. The police, on the other hand, lose trail of the perpetrator. It's been a little over 6 months. Illeana returns to Pennsylvania, where she was born. There, the agent lives a quiet life, buying baby clothes and toys, because she found out that she's expecting a baby. After picking up another parcel, Illeana returns to her home on the outskirts of town. The agent leaves the parcel and goes into the kitchen to make tea. After changing her clothes, Illeana pulls out a rocking chair for the 2 cots. As it turns out, she is pregnant with twins due soon. Sitting in the rocking chair, the agent hears the kettle boiling. Illeana goes down to the kitchen and sees the criminal there. Martin says he found all the guns in the house. For 6 months, the criminal has been observing Illeana's every move. Martin offers to start over and raise their children together. The agent refuses, saying she is carrying James's children. A struggle begins between the pair. Martin chokes the agent, demanding that she kiss him. However, Illeana takes a moment and grabs a pair of scissors from the table. Enraged, Martin takes them away and stabs Illeana in the stomach, telling her that she doesn't deserve these children. In response, the agent stabs Martin in the chest. Illeana removes the fake belly and says that she trapped Martin. The agent informs the FBI that she has succeeded in her assignment. This is the end of the film. Thank you all for watching this video to the end. Give this video a like. Write in the comments what you think about this film, and see you in new videos.